Welcome to the second video from the House of River, and today we're going to talk about the RA25 Celica, which is this model right here. At the Tokyo Car Show in 1971, Toyota brought out the SV1, which was a prototype for the liftback. Go and check it on the internet. It's a lovely looking car. 18 months later, in April 1973, Toyota launched their first Celica liftback to the public. And the two models they offered was the RA25 and the TA27. This model is a 1973 RA25GT Celica, or in Toyota terms, RA25MQGG. The TA27 and the RA25 bodies are the same, but the TA27 ran the T-Series engine, T-Series gearbox and diff. The RA25 ran the 18R engines, and depending on the model, this model ran the P51 5-speed gearbox, which was a Porsche ZF gearbox made under patent by Toyota, and it runs the F-Series LSD. So this car is 47 years old, and the history of this car is in 1973, AMI, which is Australian Motor Industries, worked with Toyota and the RMS, or the RTA they are now, to import officially some vehicles for evaluation. And this was a part of that official evaluation. And they used to evaluate GT cars, performance, handling, how they put up with Australian conditions, insurance categories, safety. And after they've been evaluated, they then decide whether the car is applicable to be imported officially as a model you could buy, or whether it was deemed not suitable for Australian conditions. Unfortunately, the GT was not applicable for Australian conditions, hence why we all got LTs instead of GTs. Normally these cars are crushed after they've been done. There is no compliance plate, they don't meet Australian standards, and because of that, it's cheaper to crush them than send them back to Japan. However, the managing director of AMI, Ken Hohen, was good friends with Laurie Stewart, who owned Stewart Toyota, and they had a good relationship with the RMS, and they asked if they could have a piece of paper for compliance and sell these vehicles to the public. And that was back in 1982 when this car was allowed for sale, and I happened to pick it up, and I've had it since then. And it's pretty much stock. It's got Equip 1 period wheels. Got a nice sound system, and other than that, it's pretty much original how it is, because my belief is the RA25 and TA27, especially the GT models, are so rare you really don't want to modify them beyond anything which you can't roll back easily. And more so this particular car, as this is the only official imported RA25 GT into Australia. Other GTs, 25s and 27s that came in were private imports, but this one, and I have the records from Toyota when I got it, that it is the official car. When it was purchased, it had 15,500 kilometres on it. It's now got 140. It was a daily from 1983 to 96. Since then, it just goes to car shows, it's on historic plates, and it does the odd trip out. There's a few things wrong with it, little tweaks, areas can be cleaned up. I have a lot of new old stock parts for it, but it'll have to wait its turn because the House of River has a few cars, and one of them's in getting work at the moment, and when that one's done, this car was in better condition than the others. This car will get its go then of restoration, and it's been known as the 88, a name given it to it back in 83 by a friend of mine, and it just seemed to stick. I think it's something to do with World War II, because he was a World War II buff, but I don't know, can't remember, and I don't know where he is now. So that is how she got a name, and everyone just knows her as the 88. So that is, here's interesting. When these cars were made, they were made in 2 batches. The first batch went from April 1973 to December 1973. In January 1974, Toyota started making what we call the long nose Celica, which is a TA22 with the same front end as this. And when they did that, they slightly homologated the production lineup, and the second lot of 25s and 27s came off the run. So from April 73 to December 1973, the only longer nose vehicles were the RA25 and the TA27. In January 1974, the TA22 joined the lineup with the same front end. These are all JDM cars, even a long nose TA22. They made the slant nose at the same time for export, which is your normal TA22 looking car. The long nose 22 was in Japan, along with the 27 and 25, which were not exported. Hence why they're rare to see outside of Japan. And hell, they're even rare to see inside Japan. The differences between the 73 and the 74 are very subtle, but can be seen. For starters, the Celica emblem is cursive script on the 73 model. On the 74, 75 models, it was a block script. The front vents run long ways on the 73 model. On the 74, 75, they go that way. Inside the engine bay, which I'll look at in the next video, I'll do another video, there's a water bottle slightly different, and the interior, there's symbols on the horn buttons, so there are a few minor differences. So the second run of 25s and 27s went from January 74 to near the end of 1976, when the RA28 liftback came out. So the 73 model was only in production for about 8 months, which makes it quite a rare car because it had a limited production run. The models only came out in ST and GT versions. There was no ET, LT or GTV version of the RA25 or the TA27. In reference to the R models, the RA25 ST could come with the 18R engine, which had no pollution gear. It wasn't the 18RC, it was an 18R, which pulled about 111 horsepower. You get the really cool 18RE, which was a fuel injected 18R, which pulled 130 horsepower, or you get the 18RG, which is 145 horsepower, depending which version. There was the 18RG, the original one with the 210 head, which is 145 horsepower, and the 18RGR, which had an air pump and some slight anti-pollution kit, which knocked it down to 140 horsepower, and the 18RGR had a 230 head. Both those engines were available on the RA25. And I think, and I will have to check, that this is probably the first vehicles which brought out the 18RG. in 1973. So that's a rundown pretty much of the history of this car and the RA25 and TA27 models. The banana lights were unique and only on the RA25 and TA27. You can put them into a 28, but you would have to shut the centre flap, because all the models of the 25 and 27 had the fuel filler in the centre, where the 28, it's up here on the side. The interior is full TA22 interior. The car is built on the TA22 chassis. So that is pretty much the RA25GT. I'll do a second video where we'll look inside the engine bay and inside the car to give you a look at that.